I feel like there are so many like socio-political issues in Pixie Hollow that not enough people are talking about, and that's what I'm here to talk about: the socio-political issues in the Tinkerbell universe. Okay, so I'm back to complaining again, and this week is actually about Tinkerbell. So if you're waiting for another Pokemon video, that will come out in like 2 weeks. I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to it. But today is gonna be about the first Tinkerbell movie, the one that came out in 2008. Because I have so many issues with this damn movie. Like, there's so much wrong with it, but it's a good movie. It's a good movie. I'm a big Tinkerbell fan. I'm wearing a Tinkerbell necklace. Fairies are very important to me. And while I do care about Tinkerbell as a person, she gets on my damn nerves, and this movie gets on my damn nerves. So I'm gonna just get into it. So this is the first Tinkerbell movie, and like I said, it came out in 2008, and it's the first movie of the Disney Fairy series, and there's many more after, as I'm sure everybody knows. But this is just gonna be about the first one. Since this is the first movie in the Disney Fairies franchise, we actually see Tinkerbell's birth at the start of this movie. And I have a problem about this birthing, but we'll get to it later, like close to the end, because my problem comes in the end. But Tinkerbell is born from Wendy's laugh, like Wendy from Peter Pan, she's born from Wendy's laugh. And we're told this is how all fairies are born in Pixie Hollow. It's apparently in Neverland, like it's a part of Neverland, and I don't understand how this works. To be honest, I don't remember Peter Pan. I think I watched it once as a child, and I'm petrified of that movie. I'm terrified of Captain Hook himself. I don't like that movie, so I don't understand. But I assume Neverland is where humans are, so I'm very confused how Pixie Hollow is in Neverland, but I don't know enough about it, so I'm gonna stay out of it. Okay? But anyways, all fairies are born from a baby's first laugh, and it is told to us that fairies are responsible for all of like the nature in the world and making the world nice, and that's why there's a fairy of each and different type, which is a main part of this movie, that each fairy has a specific talent. It's now that we see Pixie Hollow for the first time, and it's honestly so beautiful. That's one thing I can say about this whole movie. Everything in this movie is just so nice to watch. Even the song that plays when Tinkerbell is born makes me so emotional. I don't know why. I think it's like a childhood thing, but it's just so good. Pixie Hollow is like Gorgina, like it's beautiful. I love Pixie Hollow, and that's why it makes me so upset. I do love the Disney Fairies franchise, but the first movie has so many issues. And I actually think most of the issues is caused by the later movies, because basically all of the later movies contradict this first movie. But we are only talking about this first movie, and it's just not that good. It's a really agitating movie to me personally, but I must say it's really nice to watch. And if the other movies didn't exist, this movie would be perfect. Okay, so Tinkerbell is born, like I said, from Wendy's laugh, and she gets plopped into Pixie Hollow, and Queen Clarion is there to, greet her, tell her what's going on. But it honestly kills me every time I watch this, like these Disney fairy movies, that they're all born as adults. Like they stay the same age, and this is what's also confusing to me. If they're all born as adults and we never see any of them age, why is Fairy Mary, Queen Clarion, and all of the other adults like older, like visibly older? Were they born like that? Or is it like a queen bee situation where they are just born different, they are born older than the others, and that's why they're special? I don't know. Okay, so update. According to this Reddit post that I found, Queen Clarion was apparently a normal fairy until she became a queen. According to her dress, I would assume she was actually a nature fairy, possibly a flower fairy. Which remember that for later on when I talk about Queen Clarion. Some people say she was born as a normal fairy. According to the book, she was born from a shooting star. So I don't really know. So take this with a grain of salt. And also, I don't know if I trust Reddit, because they also think that that Queen Clarion was a fair ruler, which I do not agree with. So yeah, that's what I found out. But anyways, Tinkerbell is born, and all of the talents are presented to her. And here's where I come with one of my big issues with this movie. One of the talents presented to Tinkerbell is a snowflake. And if you are familiar with the Disney Fairies franchise, the snowflake represents the winter fairies. In this first movie, they claim that each section of Pixie Hollow has a different season. Like there's the summer fairies, the spring fairies, winter fairies. But the winter fairies in the first movie are in Pixie Hollow, which is simply not possible if you watch the best Tinkerbell movie, Secret of the Wings, where Tinkerbell, not to spoil if you've never seen it, but this movie's like over a decade old, you have to have seen it. It's also amazing, brilliant, you need to watch it. Tinkerbell finds out she has a twin sister who was born in the Winter Fairy like town, and we find out that Winter Fairies cannot go to Pixie Hollow, and Pixie Hollow Fairies cannot go to the Winter Woods. I think that's what it's called. They cannot go there because their wings will freeze off, and the Winter Fairies melt in Pixie Hollow. So how is there Winter Fairies in Pixie Hollow right now? It doesn't make any sense. And it's disturbing to me because Secret of the Wings is the best Disney fairy movie. So it's just annoying. It's just annoying. But the snowflake is presented to Tinkerbell, giving her the option to even choose that, which makes no sense. They should have never done that shit. But regardless of that, all of the talents are presented to Tinkerbell, and all of the fairies from the different talents are watching down so excited. And this is where I want to just bring up my next point. I love Rosetta. Rosetta, the flower fairy, she's the best one there. I just wanted to draw attention to that. She's so fine. I think about her maybe once a week. She's very important to me, and she's very gorgeous. I love Rosetta. But Tinkerbell, not that Tinkerbell's chopped, but she's clearly not flower fairy material, and I could tell you that for free. But she checks every talent, eh? She's observing every talent because she wants the cool one so bad. But then she completely walks past the hammer, which represents the Tinker fairies, like the building fairies. She completely walks past it because she was like, I don't want any of that, you know. But her Tinker powers are so strong that the fairy starts glowing, and everybody's shocked because apparently the talent only starts glowing if you're a really rare talent, like you're really good at it. And the last person to have a rare talent was Vidya, the fast flying fairy, who is about to hate Tinkerbell's guts. Like, she hates that bitch, like she really does. And that's because Vidya's jealous that she's not only the rare talent. I mean, this is never said, but I can tell you that for free. Okay, come on, media literacy. Tinkerbell is then pronounced a Tinker, obviously Tinkerbell. And she's not excited about it, but she's kind of over it. Like, she was so excited to have like one of the more nature-themed talents. But no, she's a Tinker, and she's not that mad about it. But we also meet Bobble and Clank, who saved this movie. Without them, this movie would be not as good, because, you know, they are the comedic relief. But I would also, now's another time that I have a question, a really big question. Bobble and Clank have accents. Somebody else who also has an accent is Rosetta. She's southern. Bobble and Clank, I think they are Scottish. I need to understand this accent thing, because they are all born in Pixie Hollow. Yes, they are born from a baby's laugh. So I was thinking, oh, maybe it's the accent of the baby who laughed. But I'm 99% sure Wendy is from London. Why is Tinkerbell American? The real questions that need to be asked. Is there fairy immigration? Fairy ice should not be around. But that's my question. I would just like to know that. Now, I'm gonna just recap most of the movie until I get to the points that I'm really angry about, because that's gonna be a whole discussion, because there's something in this movie that really irks me, and we're about to get to it now. Because the other fairies end up telling Tinkerbell that their job right now is to change the season to spring, because winter just ended and now it's gonna be spring, and the fairy's job is to change the season. So Tinkerbell's obviously really excited because, you know, it's so pretty, that's so fun. So she gets down to working, you know. Bobble and Clank also show Tinkerbell her new house, and these houses are great, you guys. Tinkerbell's house is so cozy. Like, I don't know why she was hating on the Tinker section so much, because her house is cozy. Like, that's a nice house. And they give her all of these outfits, Bobble and Clank, but all of them are ugly. So she does like a Barbie Princess Charm school where she like customizes her outfit. And guys, body tea, that's all I have to say about Tinkerbell. Body tea, like, it's crazy how she's the most chopped out of all of her friends. Like, her friends mug her on like another level, but like body tea, like, you know. Tinkerbell now actually gets to work, and now we see Fairy Mary, who's like the head like woman in charge of the Tinkers, and she runs that shit like the Navy. Like, I would trust Fairy Mary with my life. That's home girl. That's, oh my god, I really, and she was so excited to see Tink as well. Like, women in STEM, like, they're really looking out for each other, and I like Fairy Mary. Like, I can't even understate that enough. She's amazing. She's one of the best characters in the movie, because, you know what, she's here to get the job done, and I feel like that's something not a lot of the fairies in Pixie Hollow can say. Like, Fairy Mary's here to tinker, and then go home, okay? And that's what a good fairy is supposed to do if their job is to keep the seasons moving. Bobble, Clank, and Tinkerbell then need to go do deliveries on behalf of the Tinkers, because the Tinkers make the products to help all of the other fairies do their jobs easier. Which, once again, that's a crucial part of society. Come on. And I'm getting to the big problem now. Don't worry, I'm just catching up to speed on what the fuck I'm talking about. But while they're doing their deliveries, they take their delivery mouse Cheese, who Cheese is also a very important character to this movie, not to the plot, but to me personally, and I'm sure everybody else watching. Cheese is the MVP, low-key. Love Cheese. But they get attacked, Bobble, Clank, and Tink, and Cheese get attacked by sprinting thistles, which I don't think are a real thing. I'm gonna Google it, don't worry. But sprinting thistles that attack them, and it's kind of scary, sends all of them flying. But don't worry, because we're about to meet Tinkerbell's friends, Rosetta, Silvermist, Iridessa, Fauna, and I think that's all of them. Vidya doesn't count because they're not friends yet, but they will be friends in like one of the next movies. I think it's Great Fairy Rescue. But yeah, we meet all of Tinkerbell's friends, which are coincidentally all nature talent fairies, okay? This is important to note because they all say that they are so excited to go to the mainland, which we assume is like Earth, to change the seasons. They are very excited about this mainland thing, and this is what I want to point out. They are excited to go to the mainland. This isn't just a job for them, this is kind of a privilege. They are really ecstatic about this, and they all really hyped about it. And Tinkerbell is also hyped about this mainland thing. And later on she ends up running into Vidya, and Vidya's being a bitch because that's what she is. And I actually do end up liking Vidya in the later movies. I'm a big Vidya stan, but in these early movies, the stuff she says is kind of inexcusable. She's really a bitch. She's also classist, and this is my main crux of this movie. Vidya is just like a straight up bitch, and I can't stand her, but she's really rude to Tinkerbell. And while Tinkerbell turns out to be a really annoying character, like sometimes in this movie, but genuinely over like the next few movies, like she turns out to be like genuinely a frustrating character, I give her some grace in this movie because this is her first time living, you guys. She's basically a day old. I think she deserves some grace. And Vidya, she just does too much. Like, I don't even think I've seen her compared to Raquel from like Bobby and Raquel. And I think Raquel had standards. Raquel did some diabolical shit, but it wasn't on this level. And I think Vidya needed to cool it for the most part. But Tinkerbell mentions to Vidya that she's so excited to go to the mainland, and Vidya kind of makes fun of her, and Tinkerbell doesn't know why. But we are about to find out why. The main issue. Before we get to the main issue, Tinkerbell ends up like going past the beach or whatever, and she finds lost things, which is just objects from like Earth, that washes up on the shore. I actually don't know if Neverland is a part of Earth, if it's an island that's undiscovered. Maybe I should have watched Peter Pan. I don't want to though, I don't like that movie. But she finds these lost things and she takes it back to her tinkering like house, because she wants to use them and stuff. But Fairy Mary, this is my only flaw with Fairy Mary. Fairy Mary sees Tinkerbell's lost things and like confiscates it, and I don't understand why. Are they only supposed to use natural resources to tinker? These are supposed to be engineers, okay? And Tinkerbell is your rare talent in STEM. She's basically head engineer. How are you gonna take innovation away? Fairy Mary, do you not stand for innovation? Like, is this not... How can I support this when you're supposed to be head of engineering and you're not standing for innovation and technology? Let Tinkerbell use whatever materials she wants to use. Do not talk to Think Body Tea about innovation. Let her live her life. That's my personal opinion. Once again, no hate to Fairy Mary. I just think she needed to wake up a little. It's clear that we find out now that Tinkerbell doesn't hate being a tinker because she actually innovates all the time, despite Fairy Mary taking away all of her lost things. I'm not going back there. But Tinkerbell loves tinkering, okay? She just hates the social stresses that come with being a tinker because, like Vidya has made comments about Tinkerbell, Vidya has told Tinkerbell she's just a tinker, implying that Tinkerbell is lower because tinkers are lower than all of the nature fairies. And this is a problem not because Vidya is a bitch, but because of the fairy society they live in. This is a Pixiolo problem. And this is the main problem of the movie. Because Tinkerbell goes to like this fairy meeting, Queen Clarion's in charge. They're talking about the change of season. Tinkerbell comes with this whole wagon with a bunch of gadgets she made. of things that she thinks could help them with the change of season when she goes to the mainland. This presentation obviously flops, and it's actually so uncomfortable and sad to watch when Queen Clarion is like, Tinkerbell, you aren't going to the mainland. No Tinkers go to the mainland. It's only the nature fairies, you absolute fool. She doesn't say it like that, but like, you know, and Queen Clarion's like, hasn't anybody told you? Nobody told Tinkerbell, and I think this should have been in the starter pack when she was born. And what do you mean, why hasn't nobody told you? You were the one who introduced Tinkerbell to the world. Why didn't you tell her? And I don't have a problem with Queen Clarion, but I kinda do. In every movie, actually, I tend to have a problem with Queen Clarion, so I guess I'm a Queen Clarion hater. Oh, is that a crime? I can do whatever I want. My issue is now, the movie shows us that all non-nature fairies cannot go to the mainland. My issue with this is, the mainland is not presented as a job. It is shown to us that it is a privilege. It's something these fairies love to do and are really excited to do. And if all of the fairies in Pixie Hollow, their main job is to change the seasons and do this whole thing, even if they are not the ones that have to physically do stuff there, like paint the flowers and shit, they should still be allowed to go to the mainland. This is ridiculous. I'm really upset about this, because the implications of this is, if all of the nature fairies go, and the other fairies must just work towards this thing they never get to see because they just weren't born that way, why should they do that? I think if everybody was allowed to go, it would boost morale. It's not like this is some mythical thing where some god allowed some fairies go or not. No, this is purely the rules created by the Pixie Hollow government. No fairy will be like bounce back with a barrier. If they're not allowed, if they're not nature fairies, every fairy technically could go. It is their government that's not allowing it. And I know everybody's thinking, Zakia, is it that serious? Like, I don't see the fairies complaining. It is that serious, and I'm going to tell you why. The non-nature fairies do feel less than the other nature fairies, because the nature fairies inherently look down upon those who aren't nature fairies. Like Vidya looking down upon Tinkerbell because she's a tinker. Why are tinkers seen as less than the nature fairies? Because of the system in place that does not allow the tinkers to go to the mainland. Because, like I said, the mainland is seen as a privilege, as a really important thing to do. So the other non-nature fairies, just because they were born different, are just seen as not as important because of how they were born. And how is that okay? I know they do not have a job to do there, but it would really be nice and boost morale if all of the fairies were allowed to go. It would completely eliminate bullying based on talents, like how Vidya tells Tinkerbell she's just a tinker, and how later Terence, well, I'll get to Terence later, Terence also says he's just a fairy dust fairy. Why do they think that? It's because they are not given the same level of prestige as the nature fairies. And if Queen Clarion was such a good fair queen, she would allow everybody to go. And what I'm saying is, I know maybe not everybody wants to go. Like Fairy Mary, she seems not interested at all in this mainland situation, and that's okay. I'm just saying they should have been given an opportunity, like a sign-up thing, where it's like, if you would like to go to see the mainland at least once, you should be able to. And I think it's sickening that only nature fairies are allowed to go. And that's my soapbox, and I'll stand on it all day. Okay? Another thing is that I think if you cannot let anybody go, you have a whole team of tinkerers. They couldn't make a camera and a TV so that everybody can see this mainland shit. I think the fairies would really appreciate seeing the mainland journey. Okay, if I was a fairy, I'd be really mad about this. I'm a human and I'm really mad about it. I'm a Pixie Hollow rights activist. Equality for all pixies. Tinkerbell is obviously wrecked and distraught about this, and Fairy Mary tells her that at her heart she's a tinkerer, and the day she's a nature fairy is the day she can go to the mainland. And you know, Fairy Mary doesn't think this is that serious, because I think she's just from another generation, okay? But I understand Tinkerbell, okay? I'm 100% on her side for now. She pisses me off later on, and we'll get there. But what Fairy Mary said has got Tinkerbell thinking that the day she's a nature fairy, she can go to the mainland. So she goes to her friends and asks her friends to teach her their talents. And obviously she's terrible at all of it, because you cannot learn somebody else's talent if this is what you were born with. You cannot change races. sorry to the transracial people, but you cannot change races. It's just the way you're born, just like how Tinkerbell was born a tinker, and that is okay. But Tinkerbell ends up disregarding all of her tinkering work. That's really important because the change of seasons is still coming. I still think Tinkerbell should be doing this work, by the way, but she's not doing any of the work she's supposed to, leaving it to Bobble and Clank. Did I just forget their names? Clank and Bobble, I believe. She just leaves it to them, and she's just working on the other talents. And when Fairy Mary finds out, she's very disappointed because my heart breaks for her. She thought there was going to be another woman in STEM, and now this woman in STEM doesn't want to be a woman in STEM. And as a woman who's not in STEM, I also understand that standpoint, okay? But Tinkerbell also lashes out against Bobble and Clank, who's been covering for her as, and they look so sad. I was going to cry because they actually don't deserve any of this. And Tinkerbell at this point is being a bitch, but it's understandable. I'm also upset by this injustice, so fair, but it's not Bobble and Clank's fault. Who she should really be fighting, once again, is Queen Clarion and the Pixie Hollow government. I'm sick of this. They aren't good rulers. And I don't want anybody being like, no, but Queen Clarion, she's so fair. Because that's all I hear. You are distracted by her golden dress. That does not mean her heart is golden. Her heart is not in the right place. Tinkerbell is sad and she goes back to the beach where she found her lost things, and she ends up finding a broken music box and she fixes it, and her friends are spying on her and tell her, Tinkerbell, you're just such a good tinker, like don't you want to be a tinker rather? And she gets upset with him, and this is once again my issue. Clearly, this talent thing causes class disparities. Why? It's not that Tinkerbell is upset about being a tinker. She's upset with the way tinkers are perceived and are not perceived as important as the other nature fairies. So obviously, Tinkerbell would not want to be a tinker anymore because she's just seeing it on the surface level. But the deeper issue is that Tinkerbell doesn't hate tinkering, the act of tinkering. She just hates not being seen as important, and everybody should be seen as important in Pixie Hollow if they're all working towards the same goal and they always need each other for all of their goals. The nature fairies cannot correctly do the change of season without the tinkers. They can also not go to the mainland without the fairy dust fairies. All of them are important, and I'm sick to my stomach about this. This isn't okay, you guys. Her friends obviously don't want to help anymore, so Tinkerbell goes to Vidya to ask Vidya to teach her to be a fast-flying fairy. And this is actually Vidya's most evil moment. This is completely unnecessary and she didn't need to do this, but she was like, okay, now I'll teach you what's going on if you do this for me. She makes Tinkerbell go on cheese and collect all of the fast-flying thistles, but Tinkerbell makes these hooks and whatever, and she actually does catch the thistles, but Vidya's mad that Tinkerbell's actually getting to it, so she releases those two, which makes all of the thistles angry, and they run through the town, and Tinkerbell and Cheese run after them, and they destroy all of the preparations for spring. This is obviously diabolical, and if they would open their eyes for 2 seconds, they would know it's Vidya's fault immediately, but they don't. Tinkerbell's immediately apologetic. She literally ruined the entire community's preparations. Everything everybody's been working towards for months, gone, destroyed completely, which I don't know how that's possible because there wasn't that many thistles, but I guess they should not have kept all of their preparations in one area. That seems like bad management. And whose fault is that? Queen Clarion, not to harass people. But Queen Clarion, if you had brain, you would know not to put all of your resources in one section in case of a natural disaster, which is what occurred. Is the natural disaster Tinkerbell or the thistles? You can make the decision yourself, but I think as a good leader, you should have planned things out, had backups in other areas, because how can you not plan for stuff like this? This is basic town management. Play some city. Queen Clarion, open up your computer. Oh wait, you don't have a computer because you didn't ask the thinkers to build one. You don't care about advancing your society. You just care about sitting in your nicer house and everybody out. Queen Clarion, don't piss me off. I must see Queen Clarion in person. Oh my god, it's so on. I'm gonna squish her like a bug. And I mean that. sorry to all of the Queen Clarion stands, you are wrong, she's a bad ruler. And I don't care if it's a whole parliament process and that she doesn't make the sole decisions. She is the queen, she does make all of the sole decisions. The rest are just advisors. In the later movies, we actually do see her making the sole decisions, so she can change stuff. She just doesn't want to because she doesn't see the problem. She doesn't see the problem. Do you know why? Because I believe she probably is also a nature fairy, or she's just above like the whole queen bee thing, but she just heavily does not see the issue with these other talents being disregarded. She doesn't see the issue. Tinkerbell is obviously very upset and she runs away crying, and all of the head fairies, the fairy government, who I do not like, has a meeting about what they're gonna do because there is not enough preparations for spring to come about on like at the right time. But what I would also like to say is there's a winter fairy there, like the head of the winter fairies is there, and it's not Lord Mallory. And if you know Secret of the Wings, Lord Mallory is the head of the Winter Fairies and has been for as long as Queen Clarion has been head of like Pixie Hollow. So once again, this Winter Fairy thing is pissing me off. I don't understand it, but this isn't a Secret of the Wings video. I will probably do one eventually, but this is about the main movie, so there is no problems in the context of the first movie. We don't know about Secret of the Wings. It's just crazy that they try to pull that shit over on us years later. It's here that we actually get to see one of the greatest characters in the Disney Fairy universe, Terrence. Terrence and Tink are one of the best couples in animated history. Now, Stan, I actually don't think that's true. I don't think that's true purely because Tinkerbell in Lost Treasure, Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure, I think that's what it's called, he's such a bitch to Terrence. That's why I haven't watched that movie in years. This video was actually going to be about all of the Disney Fairy movies, but then I remembered that Lost Treasure exists and I was so angry because I remember watching it and really hating Tinkerbell. I think that's when Tinkerbell's worst colors come about, because her and Terrence, they are obviously meant to be a thing. I don't think they outright say it, but it's clearly implied they have the best chemistry of all time. But Tinkerbell's such a bitch to Terrence, but Terrence is so whooped for, and we see that here because Tinkerbell's really crying. She's upset that she ruined everything, and Terrence basically like says he's also just a fairy dust fairy, but that doesn't mean he sees any problem with it, and therefore Tinkerbell should not see a problem with being a tinker because it's all useful. Because Tinkerbell went on this whole thing when he was like, I'm just a fairy dust fairy. She was like, no, but you're so important and we need you for everything. And he was like, I never said I had a problem with it. Therefore showing her that she should not see being a tinker in a bad light, which is facts. But once again, this kind of language should not be used in general. What do you mean I'm just a fairy dust fairy? You are all important, and they would all feel important if not for who? Queen Clarion. Anyway, while Tinkerbell is moping, she ends up finding her lost things again. She gets a great idea. This is why I stand Tinkerbell for this brilliant, amazing idea, because Queen Clarion has a meeting to announce that they will not be able to do spring in time because there's no preparations. Tinkerbell rocks up a bunch of new gadgets to show everybody how they can make back all of the preparations in time quicker because of these new gadgets. Buddy ends up coming out and being like, no guys, we cannot trust her. Look what she's done to everything. Tinkerbell, thank God, doesn't sit back and take it. She tells Vidya she's selfish, and Vidya ends up outing herself as the one who told Tinkerbell to do that thistle shit. So Queen Clarion rightfully gives Vidya a good punishment. The first time Queen Clarion has done shit in this whole movie. She tells Vidya that she needs to capture all of the thistles. Thank God Vidya's punished. That's the best thing Queen Clarion has ever done. But Queen Clarion decides to give Tinkerbell a chance, and all of her gadgets work really well because of course they do. And Tinkerbell's using her lost things. Fuck you, Fairy Mary. She can innovate as much as she wants. This is a free country. Except it's not. Except Pixie Hollow is not, as we know. So they end up making back all of the preparations in time, thankfully. And all of Tinkerbell's friends are like, Fairy Mary, can't Tinkerbell go to the mainland because of how much she's done? And they come up with this excuse, you know, the music box she found on the beach, like in that one scene. They tell her she needs to return this to the person who lost it, the little girl that lost it. So Tinkerbell, Bobble and Clank end up going with to the mainland, and this is my issue. Tinkerbell is selfish. She really is selfish because, once again, this is a broader issue. This is a broader political, socio-economic, issue in Pixie Hollow, But now that Tinkerbell gets to go to the mainland at least once, she sees no problem, and what she should have been doing instead is fighting Fairy Mary on this damn dumb law that only nature fairies can go. Because clearly we saw Tinkerbell at the mainland, and guess what? Nothing bad happened to her, because it's not a danger thing, it's not a protection thing that only nature fairies can go. It's just a dumb law that the government made, which means they can take it away because it's clearly causing issues. But anyway, Tinkerbell, Bubble, and Clank go back to the mainland to return this music box, and here's also where we get another really strange issue. Tinkerbell returns the music box to Wendy. Wendy, the baby whose laugh Tinkerbell is born from. It's the same Wendy. But when we see Wendy now, she's like 8 years old. How the fuck is it possible if the whole movie was happening between the change of a season, which is a few months? So, if the fairies have to change each season, we did not see multiple season changes, which means years have not passed, it's only been months. How is Wendy that old? How is she that old? And she lost that music box, so there was still time for her to lose that music box. There is no way, and this is never explained, I don't think, and it makes no sense, and it's really irking me till now. I watched this a few days ago, I'm still thinking about this. Why would they include that? They could have made the music box belong to anybody, but they didn't. They made it belong to Wendy, which makes no sense. But anyways, that is the end of the movie, and as much as the Wendy thing really weirds me out and did not need to be in the movie, once again, my main problem is actually about Queen Clarion. And while I feel very strongly about my opinions, I do recognize that there's other opinions about this fairy situation, like the ones of my dumb sister who does not agree with me, and we were fighting about this when we were watching it. So enjoy me and my sister fighting about the political structures of Pixie Hollow. Hey, so unfortunately I'm back, and now we're gonna fight with my sister who does not want to be on camera. So let's introduce my sister Asma. Woo! Not to be confused with the lung disease asthma, which she also so coincidentally has. Don't speak over me.
You are so funny.
Don't speak over me. But I brought her here because we have very opposing opinions on the political state of Pixie Hollow. You're laughing like something's funny. Nothing's funny. We do have opposing views on Pixie Hollow, so I brought her here to talk. Can I finish the intro? I brought her here to talk about it. My rude, never to be champion sister Asma. So, hi Asma, do you have any opening statements?
My first opening statement was, we don't have completely opposing views. We just have different views of how the issues should be handled. We have the same,
okay, so,
overarching view.
Okay, so to recap, my issue with Pixie Hollow is that I think all fairies should be allowed to go, and it would raise morale. You guys watched the video, you know what I mean. Asma, what are your thoughts on it?
My thoughts are, I do think it was wrong that only the nature fairies get to go to the mainland. That's my overarching statement. But I think not everyone needs to go at every change of season, because not everyone is needed for the change of season.
It's about who's needed. It's about fairness and equality.
What about fairness and equality? You can sort that out after everything actually works.
What do you mean sorting it out after? That's the entire thing. What's after? The main issue
first.
Don't push me.
You said your opening statement now. Let me talk. I think the Tinkles should go to see how to make the change of seasons more efficient, so that later on you can have other fairies go just for funsies, and they won't be in the way. Because as it stands,
what?
If there are other fairies that go without any improvements made, the other fairies are kind of in the way.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
These fairies are like 1 centimeter tall. They are not in the way of each other. And also, you're falling for Tinker propaganda. It isn't just about them. It's about everybody in Pixie Hollow. And the main issue in Pixie Hollow society, number 1, Queen Clarion. Number 2, it's just the general fact that they're all working towards this thing, and they don't all get to partake in this thing. Once again, not everybody would even like to go. It's just about being given the opportunity. The same fairies won't go every year.
I'm not saying the same fairies are gonna go every year.
Then what's your issue?
My issue is that you must first make sure everything runs smoothly, because at the end of the movie, Tinkerbell is in the way. She's not doing anything.
You are
She's
citing,
just around.
No, you are citing one scene where Tinkerbell is on a flower. We're talking about the same scene where
Yes!
she's on a flower and one
Well,
of
it
the
was a
fairies asked her
mushroom,
to
but
move.
anyways.
Oh, Tinkerbell specialist over here.
I'm sorry, I watched the movie.
Dude, and guess what? The fairy asked her to move. Was the fairy a no? And guess
that's just
Guess what? Tinkerbell moved.
And that's just because it's one fairy, but as soon as you have more fairies, it's a bigger issue.
And guess what? Then a new talent will be born. Project Management Fairy. And
Now they must create a whole new guild because of your silly suggestion.
My silly
Your silly
suggestion. My
suggestion.
silly suggestion.
And I know, and I'm not the only one who thinks it's a silly suggestion, because I have been asking around.
What the fuck?
I have been asking around.
What the fuck? Who have you been asking?
The dunya?
The community. And what's the community saying?
So I asked around in the community, and person one says that having a raffle system, lucky draw, like only if you want to go, you put your name in a hat or whatever, that causes new issues, because it's like,
What's the new issue? What's the new issue?
It just creates a new issue.
You can't come
lucky draws and stuff always cause new issues, like they didn't do anything to deserve to go.
Okay,
they just got drawn out.
No. That's in a situation where people are selfish, and in Pixie Hollow nobody's selfish except for Queen Clarion and other fairies in government. You see, they live on the society.
Are you saying Vidya's not selfish and egotistical?
Vidya grew, but we're not citing the later movies.
No. I'm saying
you can't
as
disregard
it stands, fairies have their own opinions. They have the ability to be selfish. They have the ability to create those issues.
I'm just saying you can't.
Tinkerbell is selfish.
You can't not do it, because what if the raffle system causes problems? There's already problems.
I'm not saying what if the raffle system causes problem. The raffle system will cause problems.
Let me cite Bobby Princess Charm School.
Why are we talking about Bobby?
No, let me speak. Bobby Princess Charm School, they have a raffle system to see who can be admitted into Princess Charm School, like one special person. And guess what? Nobody gave a fuck and everything was okay.
Nobody gave a fuck.
No,
she was discriminated against at the school before she grew
by
up there.
one person and her mother. Oh, so we must worry
That's
about
still a
one fairy
person.
and one
Are
fairy
you saying that
that
one person is the only one that has that opinion?
They're the only ones who acted on it.
That doesn't mean they are the only ones that have that opinion.
You can't just disregard my whole argument on the basis of a raffle system.
I'm not disregarding
the whole sign-up sheet.
You are also disregarding my thing that let's first make sure everything runs smoothly.
But it does run smoothly. It does run smoothly.
Without any extra fairies around.
You are looking at it from a completely logical side of view and not a compassionate side of view. You can tell you studied architecture and I'm studying humanities.
I'm sorry, I understand STEM and you don't understand STEM. You don't understand functionality. You don't understand efficiency.
Dude. You just don't care about the people. Where's your heart?
I care about the people once everything runs well.
But it is running well!
Now! But once you have other people involved, then functions slow down because they're trying to keep track of everyone and they are not going to create a whole separate guild.
They are not going to try to keep track of everybody because these are adults. If you get lost, you get lost.
These are adults. Think about alive for a week.
Dude. They are born as adults.
You had no problem that I wanted things to run smoothly first.
I don't
Then
care
you
about
have
it.
extra people.
They are already a functioning society. I just think it's not necessary.
They are a functioning society as things are. Once you add a new system,
I feel like
things will change.
You are infantilizing these fairies.
Who said I'm infantilizing?
I am.
Real society. When you add in a new system, there's new problems. When you add in new functions, new roles and whatever, there's new problems.
Humans are more volatile than fairies. We didn't see a fairy serial killer. They all seem to be normal, chill people. The most evil one there is Queen Clarion or Vidya. And I feel like they are not as problematic. I don't foresee
because their society is on such a micro scale.
So I don't foresee issues that are that catastrophic. The most catastrophic person there is Tinkerbell, and they dealt with her with ease. She dealt with herself with ease.
I feel like you are refusing to try and understand.
I get your point, but
No,
it's
clearly
just not that deep though.
But it is that deep because you're recording a video about it.
Yeah, you know what?
It
You
is
got me
that
there.
deep.
You kind of got my ass, but no.
But yes, the other person said that both of us are wrong. We are trying to change systems that already work. Just keep it as is.
What?
Nothing needs to change.
What? Okay, so we both agree that's
We
completely
both
false
agree that's insane.
because the levels of classism in that dumb movie, crazy.
Yeah.
That's so wrong. Tell them to never speak again.
They just said everything works as is, but I guess if you want to add new systems, you can, but it's not necessary.
That's not true. That's not true. No, but I think my point still stands. I'm right. Everybody else is wrong.
Up for debate. Clearly up for debate. Since we are having a debate.
Your point's just what? That's valid.
Because you don't value efficiency.
I don't value efficiency. I really don't.
So if
it works,
stuff
it
stops working, stuff is much slower. Change of seasons is much slower.
Our change of
Then-
seasons is slower. That's
We live in Cape
it's
Town, that's
global
not
warming.
valid.
It's global warming.
It's Cape Town, it'll rain in summer, it's freezing in summer.
And guess what? We all okay.
But then, that's not how the fairies work towards the change of seasons. You are minimizing
you are
their
also-
work.
I would also just like to say I feel like everybody is only focusing on the Tinker aspect and not on the other fairies involved. The fairy dust fairies, music fairies. I know there's an art fairy somewhere. Yeah, nobody's talking about them. Any thoughts on that?
Why would the music fairies want to go? What are they going to do with the change of seasons?
Come on.
What are the music fairies going to do with the change of seasons?
Play a soundtrack. Play a jolly soundtrack.
I was going to ask you, do you hear a soundtrack when you go outside? But you
Yes.
are insane enough, so yes,
I
you
do
do.
actually.
But that's from your earphones, not the fairies.
Come on.
That's from your earphones, not the fairies.
But wouldn't you want that level of magic? Yes or no?
No, I don't want to feel like I'm going insane.
Yes or no? Would you want the soundtrack playing every time you went outside? Yes or no?
But only during the change of seasons.
Like an intro.
No.
I would like an intro. Yes or no? Would you like an intro to the change of seasons?
I feel like that's insane.
No, you just don't like fun. And this proves that your opinion shows that you don't like fun. You don't want everybody to have fun. You only want, oh, but if you're important enough, then you can have fun.
I did not say important.
That's kind of the gist of what you're
No,
saying. That's
you
it.
are just refusing to understand my point.
Yeah.
You are just refusing
Correct.
to understand my
Correct.
point. So then this was nothing.
Yeah.
This was nothing.
I just wanted to yell at you.
And you just wasted my time.
Yep.
You're so full of nonsense.
Anyways, bye guys. I'll see you guys in like 2 weeks with Pokemon, because I'm getting back to that. It's gonna be Pokemon Violet, and I know what you're thinking is like, yeah, why are you posting a Pokemon Violet video when Legends EA is coming out? Listen, I'll play it when I play it, and it's my channel. I do what I want, and I'm always right. So bye.